On board as well, Bob Weiner, Democratic strategist, columnist, former communications director for Clinton Drug Czar General Barry McCaffrey. He's also former chief of staff of the House Committee on Aging. Bob, good to have you as well.
Good to be with you, Alan, and you didn't mention that I've got the lead op-ed in today's Washington Times that Obama can come back after his first debate debacle.
You know, it's interesting you should mention that. Matt, are you of that mind? And by the way, congrats on the column, the Washington Times. Fine,
Thank you.
Fine paper. I've had about 30 columns of my own in that August.
You have.
But Matt,
I'm just a minor little scratcher against the great accomplishments of you.
We see, at least as of October 12th, Rasmussen puts Virginia in Romney's camp. Does he not?
Well, I saw some polls. There are conflicting polls today. Ohio is still 5 in favor for Obama. North Carolina and Florida, though, are 1 or 2 points down. Florida, I believe, is 2, and North Carolina is 1 down, and Romney is up in those. Virginia, what I've heard is it's still Obama's. But
what I'm saying is Romney has clipped the hell out of whatever marginal lead the president was able to sustain over a prolonged period of time. About that, I don't think there can be any argument. I'm just saying that's the aggregate summary. Where am I off base, Bob Weiner?
You're off base on the average of the polls, which shows Obama +3 and overall nationally and +5 in the swing states. That's the poll of polls. However, Obama today put an email out saying the election is tied. I think he's right because of the trending, and he can staunch that trending, and I believe will, with facts on, as you pointed out, and as Matt pointed out on the tax thing. If you don't say where you're going to get mortgages or charities or health benefits and how much you're going to cut from each to make up that $5 trillion, he's going to put Romney in a lying position, and that will make a difference to the American people.
Every year is Alan Nathan, again, the militant moderate. We're covering a plethora of challenges, the Benghazi cover-up, the presidential debates. Assisting me in the opining, old friends to the show, Bob Weiner, Democratic strategist and columnist.
I think it points very strongly towards covering one's own posterior in a case that was a grievous attack on American humans and territory.
Bob, is it CYAP, cover your own posterior?
This from the blackest kettle among the pots in the kitchen. When I've talked with people at the CIA who said they wrote in the report the objections that were completely ignored, that there were no WMDs in Iraq, and that caused an entire war by the last administration.
Back to the rub, Bob. Back to the rub. What about what we have in front of us?
The point is that intelligence makes mistakes, and like the rest of us, they took a few weeks to get it right here and to report it through the chain.
A bit like arguing a contrast where there is no difference, Bob Weiner?
You don't give time for the equivalent of court case discovery, and we're a month into it, and we now know it was terrorism. But you gave George Bush about 6 or 7 or 8 years to still not realize.
Please spare me. By that measure, Bob, it's kind of hard to be both leading as well as running away. The two seem mutually exclusive. Their dodging every time accountability is within reach seems to, if you will, expose the latter as opposed to the former. Your take on it, Bob Weiner?
Well, Matt has raised a lot of cosmic political issues about Libya, so I might point out who got Gaddafi. First of all, Romney and McCain both were saying it should be in a coalition of allies, which is actually exactly what Obama did and got Gaddafi. Then they ran around and said, they should have been solo because it took an extra couple of weeks to get him. We got Gaddafi. Libya actually is a big success if you look at the macrocosm picture. And, by the way, he got bin Laden, too. So if we want to get into national security and foreign policy, and Bush failed to get bin Laden, we are going to win on that. And that's what the polls show. The point is Obama succeeded where others failed by doing it solo, making the decision.
The Libya, Bob, 10 seconds. Can your guy do it?
He can do it because the jobs picture is improving. Bin Laden's dead, and Americans overwhelmingly support leading Iraq and Afghanistan. The sky is not falling. It's getting better.
Final word, battle line.